So for those who weren't a part of the Transcend You Challenge, because this is going to be visible to like the entire community, and
Right.
also just our following on Instagram at large. So for those who weren't a part of the Transcend You Challenge, what motivated you to take it on, first of all, and then what goals did you set for yourself at the beginning?
So the Transcend You Challenge was set at a Momentum Day that was held by the SFM in March, and I was lucky enough to be there in London, and I was just really inspired by hearing the leaders talk about what it really takes to create new habits in your life. And, I know from past experience, I've tried before to introduce new habits or get rid of bad habits. And, quite often I've failed. I've not managed to keep it. And I really got that clarity at Momentum Day of how you really need to put the consistent action in. And being given this opportunity to do this challenge with the community and knowing that you have that accountability there to help you, that was, for me, that just seemed like the perfect moment to kind of seize the opportunity. And it just came at the perfect time for me because I'd really got to the place in my business where I was ready to start marketing. I hadn't been marketing, but I had been with SFM long enough that, I'd been procrastinating. And I really got that feeling at Momentum Day that I've got to do this now. Like there's nothing else. Like I've really got to make the sacrifice, and this is like number one priority. And there was a definite shift for me during the time when I was at those events. So yeah, it just came at a perfect time that I was really ready to like give everything to it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Timing is everything, isn't it? You have to you can say that you want to do something, but you really have to kind of just there's no right time. A lot of people say, and people sometimes wait until they're waiting for the right moment, or they're waiting to feel ready or something. And then, so I commend you because, at that point you were probably ready on one hand, because like you said, you've been procrastinating, but on the other hand, were you really, really ready? So you just kind of took it on. You just decided, enough is enough. I'll just do it.
Yeah, I was just fed up of getting in my own way. And I don't think I'd really realized how much I'd been procrastinating and how much I'd been holding myself back. And I definitely didn't know why. And through the challenge, like that all became so obvious and so apparent. And, mostly it was to do with fear and like limiting beliefs and just not wanting to put myself out there. I was afraid of what it would mean to like start making YouTube videos and really like let people know who I am. And there was so many like fears of judgment, fears of being rejected, worrying what other people would think, all of that stuff. But yeah, the challenge really helped me to just push through those fears.
No, that's amazing. I love that. That's so good. I mean, you never know going into these challenges what they're going to do for you. So to hear that that's what it helps you to do, I could, just from being an internal team member and seeing how much it helped people and what, the different outcomes that, and the different things that it did for so many people. It's just wonderful for me to see just so many people being inspired and having all these positive changes from it. So no, it's really, really cool to watch. So once you decided to join, you were tasked, I know, with setting, what was it, personal, health, and business, right? So what goals did you set for yourself?
Okay, so yeah, excuse me. I was a little bit optimistic with my goals, and I, sorry, I've been sick for the last week.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was a bit optimistic with my goals, and I kind of didn't take the advice of just sticking with one per category. So in the health goal, I decided that I've got them written down here because I would have forgotten otherwise. my health goal was to drink no alcohol for the whole 90 days and to increase my like daily exercise. So 5 times a week, I committed to doing at least 30 minutes cardio activity. I mean, mostly it was walking or yoga, but I could mix it up however I wanted. My business goals, which were really the main focus of the challenge, and everything else was just to kind of help me to be able to achieve those. So I had really only maybe about 40 or 50 leads on my list at that time from a tiny little bit of marketing that I'd done. And so I decided that I needed to start getting in the practice of sending emails to my lists, because I hadn't done that before. And then so I committed to twice a week broadcasting to my list, which is not a lot, but I hadn't done anything like that at that stage. So for me, it was big. And what happened with the challenge as it went on was that a lot of the time one goal post would be hit and then I would add to it and increase it. And so it kept evolving over time. But I also said that I wanted to practice Facebook Live once a week because I was nervous of Facebook Live. I'd never done it. By the end of the challenge, I was like on lives in the group all the time, just like totally comfortable with it. So that was a huge shift. I also wanted to commit to sitting down and actually learning something new every week, because I had finished the modules a while ago, but I knew that there were other areas I needed to learn more about. So some study time each week was one of the things. And then the last one, which was like the big one, was that I was going to find my like winning ad campaign. So whatever it took to find that winning ad campaign, and I'm advertising on YouTube, so it started off with the goal of creating at least one new advert per month. And at that stage, for me, creating an ad was like a huge deal and took a long time. The process was a long thing, you know. So I was like, once a month is all I can manage. At some point in the challenge, that got increased to once a week, and you know, things were getting easier and quicker to do. So yeah, so that was the business one. And then the self goals, they were mostly to do with my morning routine. I wanted to wake up no later than 7 a.m. I wanted to meditate and do yoga every day. So I was kind of doing some of those things anyway, but I wasn't consistent with getting up that early every time. Practicing gratitude every day, and also listening to books on Audible for at least half an hour every day. So I kind of like made sure that I had all of the elements of the 5 things that leaders do in my challenge so that I could tick those off.
That's cool, kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. I like that. But also to, you know, to the point of your personal goals too, I think that there's an element, which I love that you did this. There's an element of in there of kind of, you know, self-care also. It's not only that you were looking to improve, but it was also, to me, some of those things are things I do when I want to relax and just have a moment to myself, and, you know, like the yoga or practicing gratitude, or, you know, or listening to a book, an audio book, or even reading a book, you know. Those are like those little moments where you get to kind of like tuck away and just, you know, have a little bit of self-care. So it's good. I like that you worked that into the challenge.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Very
nice.
nice.
I think it's necessary, you know, like there was, you know, some big challenges there in terms of business, and so the other ones were needed to balance it out for sure.
Yeah. Oh, it's all about balance. It's all about balance. And you know, now I'm hearing more about those different goals. I think that that's probably one of the things that probably ended up giving you a leg up and helped you be so successful within the challenge, is finding that balance. So yeah, that's great. Amazing. Love it. All right. So, I mean, I know those, like you said, you had some pretty lofty goals. You did not take the advice of doing one per category, but I like that. I mean, go big or go home, right? But obviously, doing something like this, it's new, it's challenging. So I guess my next question would be, what difficulties or roadblocks did you come across as you were going through the challenge?
Yeah. I had a lot of struggle in the challenge. There was some really high days where I was like riding the top of this roller coaster, and I was like seeing some success and, feeling good about things. And then there were other days where I'd like crashed right down. I think the biggest thing was the fears that I had to push through in order to actually do the things I'd said I was going to do. And if I had not been on the challenge, I would have found every excuse not to do them. So, like simple things that I didn't realize would be hurdles. But for example, like starting to put more content on my YouTube channel, I realized how much I was procrastinating over that. And I was just making excuses that I needed to do something else. But the reality was I didn't. I needed to do that. And I was afraid of doing it because I still had all these thoughts that that told me I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't ready, I didn't know enough, what will people think, all of that. And being in the challenge, I had to face those fears. So actually one of the first videos that I made was a video about the fear of failure and overcoming that. So yeah, I would say just facing my own fears and the nonsense stories in my head that were holding me back was what I faced. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that might be kind of a common thread with a lot of people in this challenge, watching from the outside, not being a participant, but following a lot of you through the challenge. It was definitely people saying that they had to kind of overcome that fear of just, it's making yourself vulnerable is scary, right? And that's what you're doing. You're getting on every time you get on camera or every time you build a piece of content and you put it out for the world to look at. There's that vulnerability, right? Because you're putting yourself out there to be judged, critiqued, or, people have opinions, right? So it's scary. So I just, I commend you and everybody else who pushed past those fears, because it's a tall order. It's not easy. It's a very hard thing to do, to be able to just be vulnerable like that and put yourself out there. So, I mean, yeah, that's great. I'm glad that you were able to push past.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the thing. Like you're so afraid of being vulnerable, but actually when you are, so many people relate to you that it's never as bad as you think. The feedback that you get is like, you just get loads of love. Loads of people send love your way and you're like, oh, that wasn't so bad.
No, the community is definitely a huge part in that too. It's amazing to see. And yeah, you get that validation and it makes it a little easier for the next time, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That actually, I think, brings me to my next question. You're talking about the love that you got when you were putting things out there. What part did the SFM community play in helping you complete the challenge?
The community was like massive. Just having that little, it was like being in a little bubble, a nice little cocoon where you could just share whatever, because I didn't have fears about sharing within the community, so I could go into that group whenever I was struggling and just say how I was feeling. And everybody was on the journey together, so everybody was supporting each other and just kind of pushing each other on, and you just, every time you got down, you got picked up again. And I found I really missed that group after the challenge ended, because it was most of my social I didn't have much social life during that challenge, and that was everything really. Yeah, I'm forever grateful for everyone in the community. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. And I know everybody, just seeing the comments and engagement that your posts were getting too, I know that everybody within the challenge was very grateful for everything that you were bringing to the table as well. Because you were, one of the most active and engaged members just in general, not only with the challenge itself, but then going in and commenting and liking and giving support to other members too, which is huge. It's absolutely huge. So I commend you for that as well, because that's not easy to stay on top of that either. You know, that's it was almost like a challenge within the challenge to be so engaged with everybody else and stay on top of what everybody else was doing as well, right? So
Yeah. It's
yeah.
funny because I think like you always give what you want more of, right? So like it's, you know, I learned this in the brand incubator, like the things that you value are always the things that you feel you need. And for me, like the support is a huge thing, because I always feel like I struggle when I feel like I'm alone. And so I always like to give support and encouragement to other people so that they don't feel like that. And then as a result, it's like this beautiful cycle where it comes back to me and gives me exactly what I need as well. And I only recently learned that. And yeah, it was like, oh.
You're like, oh, funny how that works, huh?
Yeah.
Amazing. I love that. That's, yeah, the brand incubator is great in so many ways. And that's definitely one of the lessons I took away too. So it's funny you should say that. So, you know, the things I think I make sure now, like you said, the things that we need, you know, you then go and give lots of, and then you just get it back in return. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, so, you know, we talk a lot about the things that shifted for you. You said one of the things that shifted for you was being able to move past, you know, the self-limiting beliefs or the fear basically that you have. Would you say that that was your biggest shift or takeaway, or, you know, and if so, what other big shifts or takeaways, you know, did you have from this, and how did being a part of the challenge help you to make those shifts?
I would say that aside from overcoming the fears, there's probably two other main things that I really got from the challenge. One is like, I'd heard Stuart talk about how hard it is to, you know, integrate these habits. And I had, you know, I kind of had some understanding of that, having like failed to do it in the past. But until I actually really committed to this, it was like, I did not realize like how hard it really is to make those changes, and how, you know, in the beginning, like but it's only a short phase, but it's really hard in the beginning, and then you get to a stage where you're like, oh, this is like getting easier now, and then it's incredible because everything just kind of flows from there. So in terms of creating habits, it gave me great lessons in how I would ever want to introduce like new habits into my life again, and what I really need to do in order to make that happen. And then probably also the other main thing is like the accountability, and I found my own like accountability group throughout that challenge as well. It kind of we found each other, and we still talk like every day. I'm now in a group with Christine Frey, who was the winner of the Transcend You Challenge, and Morel Moscow and Cynthia Jesus. And so we're like still kind of continuing that on, and we talk to each other every day and kind of say what we're going to do and share tips and advice. And that is massive, like for making progress in your business or anything that you want to change in your life, having that. It makes such a difference. So yeah, I really recommend that to people who maybe don't have that yet.
Yeah, that's right. It's all about, yeah, that sense of community and support, and you know, and that also again plays into what you were just talking about. You know, you're giving those people what you need the most, and in return, you know, they're kind of giving back, and you know, that closeness that you form too, because they're all going through the same things, like you said. So just that sense of validation and camaraderie and solidarity is paramount, you know, because you wouldn't be able to just talk to your neighbor about any of this, like just, you know, just any old person about what you're going through, right? So it helps to know that somebody knows exactly what you're going through.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, people who are going through the same journey as you, you know, and I think the main thing why our group works so well, because I know like sometimes groups don't work that well together, but because we're all kind of at a similar stage of our journey and we're all pretty much doing the same thing, so that's really a key part of it as well.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, I love that. Yeah, I love hearing when members get to connect on such a close level, and that they start making these lifelong friendships. It's just touching, and it's very cool to see like what we're doing is working. You know what I mean? What we're, everything we're doing behind the scenes, it all pays off when we see stuff like that. So, so that makes me really happy for sure. All right, so one final question, and then I'll let you go. We'll wrap it up. How has being a part of the SFM community at large helped you in your growth since joining the SFM?
Oh, it's like massive. I think, I always had this feeling that I was supposed to be doing more. Like that I just had this feeling that I wanted to have more impact in the world. I wanted to make a difference. But every time I've kind of tried in the past, it's felt so difficult because I've been doing it alone. So when I found the SFM, like not only did it open my eyes to so many possibilities that I didn't even know were there, it also just provided like literally everything I could possibly need to make those things become a reality. So yeah, I menot only have I learned, about online business and marketing, it's been an incredible personal development journey, and I feel like I've had so many shifts and so much transformation, and sometimes it's a bit exhausting. You're like, when's it going to stop? But no, it's great. And yeah, it has really changed my life. And, I have a whole bunch of like really great friends now that I, didn't have before. And it's great to be on that journey with them and to, have like we said before, just have people that are doing the same thing, like that are really in your life on a day-to-day basis, not just through a screen or anything like that. So yeah, I'm like forever grateful to the SFM.
Amazing. Good. Oh, my heart is like swelling right now. It's so good. I love it. Oh, because I know, again, just I've never been an affiliate. So I came to the SFM. I've always just been an internal team member.
Right.
So I get to see from the inside, I get to see these connections being made and friendships being formed and people's lives changing. And it's always so good for me to see. It makes me grateful to have the job that I have, but then also, I've made, obviously connections with people over the years too. So it's a very unique and special place. And I'm so happy that you found your place in it for sure. Not found your place in it, actually, you made your place in it. Absolutely. And I'm glad to see your progress and everything.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. It's so good to see. All right. Well, I don't want to keep you for too much longer. I'm sure you've got things to be doing today, but thank you so much again.
Fabulous. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. It was so great connecting with you today. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, you too. Bye.
Bye.